The while loop. While loop is a programming construct that repeats, iterates over selected code until a condition is met. The x variable we're going to use as our counter in our program has to first be initialized. In this case, we've initialized our x variable to equal 0. The condition that needs to be met has to be within the while statement. So in this case, we've got while x is less than 10. We terminate that line with a colon. Any code to be repeated must be indented. In this case, you can see print x is indented. And then the last line, we have x plus equals 1, and this is our increment counter. Okay, x plus equals 1 is the same as saying x equals x plus 1. So now let's look at some examples. So first of all, we'll set our x variable to 0. Then we'll do our while statement. So we'll do it while x is less than 10. Okay, we want it to print x. Okay, then we need our counter, our increment counter. Okay, then what we do, we save our file. So file, save as. Okay, give it a name. In this case, I'm going to call it while. And save it. Then we run it by selecting run from our menu, or select F5 on your keyboard. So run module, so you can see what happens here. So what the program does, it prints all the way from 0 to 9, and as mentioned in my previous video, the computers always start with 0. So if we wanted to write from 0 to 10, we would have to put while x is less than 11. Okay, let's look at another example. So let's print out a string. So we're saying while x is less than 10, print Python is cool. Okay, so while x is less than 10, print Python is cool. So what we do now, we can save it. I'm just going to overwrite my other program because this is just an example. You can actually save it with a new file name. So run module. Okay, so you can see what happens then. Here, Python is called is displayed 5 times. We can also use a decrement counter. So in this case, we might be wanting to go the other way. So we can set x to equals 5. And then we can say why x is greater than 0. Okay, we might want it just to print out x. Okay, so to use a decrement counter, we will have to say this is a minus. So this will go -1 every time it's looping. Okay, so here again, it's just an example. So I'm just going to save it and I'm going to run it. Okay, we might actually want to make it look a bit interesting. So I'm just going to put print. So everything that's outside of a loop will only be repeated once. So F5, save. All right, so you can see what happens here. So this is its decrement, so it obviously goes -1 each time. Okay, so it will keep going around until it reaches 0, and then it will stop and then print blast off. Okay, so let's try another program. Let's write a little program for ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to ask the user for a password. Okay, so password equals input please enter a password. And then this is where I'm going to put my while statement, and the condition that needs to be met. So I'm saying while password, and in Python, to say not equal to, we do exclamation mark and equal to. So we're saying while password doesn't equal or not equal to open sesame, we want the program to say access is denied. So we're going to say print access denied. However, if they do guess the correct password or they enter in the correct password, we want to now inform them that access is granted. Okay. In order to ask the user to enter in another password, to enter a password in again, if they get it incorrect, we have to have this statement there again. We have to prompt the user to enter in a password. Okay, so control. Okay, so I've just copied obviously the same code I have here using obviously Control C and Control V. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is what the program does. It answers, it says password equals input. Please enter a password. While password not equal open sesame, print access denied. Then if they don't enter the correct password, it will say access denied and prompt them to enter a password again. If they, however, state the right password, the program will say access granted. So let's run the program. I'm going to save it as another name this time. So I'm going to save as, and I'm going to call it, just call it password. Okay, and I'm going to say save. Here we can just select F5 or run module. So the program's asking me for a password, so I'm just going to put anything in there. Okay, so not obviously the password I had there, but anything. So you can see it's asking me again. Okay, I'm going to put something else in here again. See, access denied. Only when I put the correct password in will it allow me to access. Access granted. So you can see what happens there. Okay, I've been able to enter. Okay, thank you for watching.